Hey guys, I'm here in Minnesota at the Minneapolis St. Paul's Airport, where hundreds of faith leaders have gathered to protest these ICE tactics and demand Delta and target the accountable, primarily Delta, because Delta has helped deport more than 2,000 people locally here just in the last few weeks. We have faith leaders, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, believer, non-believer, from all over the country, hundreds gathered here ready to be arrested to send the message that we will not stand idle while they continue to deport our neighbors, continue to kill our neighbors, continue to kidnap our children. I'm going to switch so you can see what's happening. By all means, share comments, subscribe, support, and spread the word. All this stuff. It's amazing to see people come together from all backgrounds. This narrative, this strategy that Minnesota is deploying is a strategy that we can deploy nationally. And this is why Donald Trump and his cronies are working so hard to crush dissent here in Minnesota, because they know that if they can win in Minnesota, they can win elsewhere. These leaders in Minnesota have built a phenomenal structure to organize people in mass. And it's our responsibility to learn from them and apply these same principles all over the country. Because if we can, then we would be able to send a message that we can be effective in the way we organize against racism. This model, look at it. People from all walks of life, all backgrounds, sending a message that we are not going to tolerate this. People forget the role that corporations play in enabling fascism. Delta knows full well that ICE is violating due process of law, violating equal justice for all people in this country, killing people, and Delta is still choosing profits over people, politics over principles. And that's why it's absolutely critical that we do not tolerate this. We do not allow this kind of fascism to go unchecked. If you fly Delta, ask yourself why. Look at the number of people showing up here. This is amazing. It is bitter cold here, guys. It is absolutely bitter cold here. I am wearing 6 layers, 7 layers, and I'm still freezing. It is about minus 20 degrees. With the wind chill, it's about minus 40 degrees right now. I've been out here just a few minutes and already my hands and feet are frozen. I'm wearing layers upon layers. That's how cold it actually is. Let's see the direct action. You can see this blocked off road over here for this direct action. There's Delta Airport. They're making the message heard clearly. I've got hand warmers. Here. Walk across the line. I was coming inside just for a second. I can see my fingers and answer some of the questions here. What questions do you guys have? What questions do you guys have? Feel free to share them. I'm going to stay inside for just a minute before I go back outside. Pretty soon, people are going to start to block traffic or do a sit-in protest. I'm not sure what the exact strategy here is at this point, because I'm not part of that committee, but I did want to be present to bear witness as to what's happening right now. Um, when I say it's cold here, I grew up in Chicago. I've seen cold before. The level of cold here is something I've never seen before. It's absolutely unheard of. Absolutely insane. I got earmuffs on, a hat, a hoodie, and You can't see, but I'm wearing 6 layers underneath this thing, and it's still insanely cold. I've not seen any smoke bombs yet, but at the same time, I don't think they deploy them at the airport, but who knows what's going to happen at this point. Yep, there's David asked, there's ICE activity nearby. They're all over Minneapolis. They are terrorizing people here. People are traumatized here. People are deeply traumatized here by what's happening. It's truly horrific. They're going after anyone and everyone, chasing people down the streets. People have whistles to blow their whistles constantly as soon as they see ICE activity nearby. These are modern day Gestapo. I mean, you could literally take the words that Anne Frank wrote about people being disappeared and apply to what's happening in Minnesota. It is far worse than what corporate media is reporting. This is one reason why I wanted to be out here and share this from the ground, so you know that it's authentic and real. I can tell you people here are traumatized. They're furious. They're enraged, but uh, we're seeing betrayal. I'll use the word betrayal. We expect Republicans to follow the MAGA train because that's all they know how to do. I do not expect Democrats to do the same thing. And yesterday, to see Democrats side with these MAGA fascists and vote for another $28 billion in ICE funding is simply unacceptable. It's a betrayal of values. And we can't afford healthcare. We can't afford food stamps. We can't afford public education. But somehow we can afford another $28 billion for ICE fascists. Absolutely indefensible. It's critical that we continue to raise our voices, guys. We got more and more people coming in, and the crowd outside is growing. I'm going to head back outside right now, okay?
What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? No. What do we want? When do we want it? No.
You're out here in Minnesota. Come on out. It's a voice you heard. Guys, this is the act of democracy. This is what truly makes this country special. The ability to protest, the ability to lodge your complaint against tyrannical government. What's the point of life if we're not here to serve each other, guys? What is the point? Take these opportunities to speak up. Let your voice be heard. Do not be intimidated into silence. And this is where I say, those of us who are citizens, who have that privilege, who have that protection on some level, although nothing works anymore, use that privilege to your advantage and let people know, let people understand that you're not going to tolerate this kind of fascism in our country. Look at all these hundreds of people here. This is powerful. And not just sub-zero temperatures. We're talking like sub 30 degree below zero temperatures. Remember how cold it is when it's freezing out? This is 60 degrees colder than that. And people are here and they're making their voice heard. Delta is not silent. In fact, this is why Delta silent. I would say these signs aren't exactly accurate. Delta's not silent. They're very loud. They're loud with their dollars. They're loud with their dollars, letting the world know that they support this fascism. They openly support this fascism. They could have had a choice to say, we are not going to support this fascism, but they saw the dollar sign and they decided, nope, we are going to support this fascism and we are going to profit off of it. That's exactly what they're doing. Look, we stopped going to Target. They've lost $50 billion in value over the last year. 50 billion. We can do the same thing with Delta. Let them know that you will not be flying them. Let Delta know you will not be flying them any longer until they stop working and cooperating with these ICE fascists. Again, I say it again and again. Do not underestimate the complicity of corporate media in the advancement of fascism in this country. They are complicit. They are absolutely aligned with the Trump regime because it makes them dollars. That's all they care about. They don't have to do this. They don't have to do this. They're afraid of Trump coming after them. And that's why they're afraid to speak up. This is where we need to raise our collective voices and not tolerate this fascism, not tolerate their capitulation to Trump. Like I said, Target's a juggernaut. We made them lose so far over $50 billion in value. we can do the same thing with Delta. So if you do fly Delta, ask yourself why. See if you can switch. Now, you're not going to find a perfect airline. I'll give you that. But here we're seeing a very clear example of a precise thing that we can do to hold accountable these corporations. Simple as that. Simple as that. One thing you'll notice here is the majority of folks here are white Americans. White Americans are stepping up, sharing their privilege, recognizing their privilege. And by the way, the main organizers of this event were black and brown people, LGBTQ people. And I commend these white Minnesotans for stepping up and putting literally their lives on the line. I've often said we need messengers, not martyrs. But these martyrs that are putting themselves on the line are doing it for the right reasons. And I think that's important to call out. It's important to recognize. We need more of this. We need more sustained protests of this. We need to continue to elevate our voices. I'm going to go back inside for just a second, again, to answer some more questions, and I'll head back out here. It's hard to read the comments and answer questions while I'm walking here, but I'm going to go inside and do that real quickly here. Hi. Cool. All right, let's see what questions you guys got here, because this is, God, it's cold. I don't know how we're staying out there. Delta is facilitating the transportation of detainees, yes. Miley, it's great to be here. People in Minnesota are amazing. It's truly a privilege to be here. Yep, another 5-year-old kidnapped. Yep, the 7 Democrats. I posted about them last night. You can see my article from last night for not only their names, but in their photos, but also their numbers. And I include a script you can use to call them to let them know that you will be working to make sure they get voted out of office. I am careful, Maggie. I promise you. I'm safe. I'm safe and I'm warm right now for a few minutes while I'm in here just to answer some of these questions. Nancy's right. Every state needs to organize for this. Let me be clear. What Minnesota is doing here is not only brilliant, it's unifying, and it's an example of how we can push back against these fascists. It's an opportunity for us to learn across the country on how, on a state level, we can organize. So get with your faith leaders, your local community leaders, and start to organize in your respective state. Don't wait for ICE fascists to show up. Have a plan already in place. Reach out to the leaders in Minnesota, ask them, fly them out, raise some money, get them out there to train you on how to get this done. This is the national organizing that we actually need right now. Hot hands. I'll check that next time. Molly said this is actually what love looks like, and she's exactly right. When you can put yourself out in the cold, in the squeezing, bitter cold, for the love of your neighbor that you don't know, your neighbor you do know, that's what true love looks like. When you treat humanity, all humanity as your own second kin. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the love. I want to make sure I'm not centering myself. I want to center the folks out here. They're the ones doing the harder work. I'm just trying to report on it and share. You guys are aware that corporate media is not out here. We got some local media outlets, but this is a major national protest happening, unprecedented in this modern time in terms of protesting ICE, and there's zero corporate media out here. This is what I mean. Corporate media is completely dead in this space. They don't care. They're complicit. They're selling out to billionaires. They're trying to tell you everything's okay and it's fine when it's not. I need y'all to continue to raise the alarm, raise these voices that are out here. I'm going to be trying to interview a few of them a little bit later on. But the fact that there's no meaningful engagement from corporate media just tells you how little they actually care about this. All right. It's hard to keep up. I got a lot of comments, guys. I appreciate this immensely. Yeah, it's minus 17 here. And then with the wind chill, it's like minus 40. All right. I'm going to head back out there in just a second. Or more and more people are showing up. I'm going to switch back the other way. It's out. More and more folks continue to show up with blankets, messages to make clear that this is not something that they're willing to tolerate. I mean, it's on every level. It's great to see people genuinely care. Yeah. You're welcome, Elizabeth. Thank you all. Okay, let me tell you, it is exhausting too. Doesn't seem like a lot walking back and forth, but in this weather, your body's working overtime just to stay warm. It's working overtime just to have basic ability to function without your organs shutting down. It is working overtime. It is extremely, extremely cold. People are bringing their biblical verses. You know, it's become cliche that if someone has a Bible verse in bio, they're typically a MAGA, but people are leaning into their faith, leaning into their Christian values, into their Jewish values, into their Muslim values to condemn this fascism, to condemn this attack on our rights. And just, this is great. You can't even walk because there's so many people in here. Actually, I'm going to go back inside out of the next gate. Come out that way because I want to get to the one end of it and just show you guys how far down this actually goes. I know. Cops have blocked off. Okay. I'll go. Why not? This way again. Yeah, cops in the flight gear already over here. I really wonder if these people watch Star Wars and like root for Darth Vader and the Empire. Because that's what's happening right now. Oh, I can't go. Hey, oh. Hey, some kind people saying hello to me. I appreciate that immensely. Oh, ice has got to go. It's just the crowd was going on and on and on. Absolutely fantastic. NPR News is here, which is Minnesota's public radio. I'm not seeing any national media outlets here yet. And, you know, they had sent them embargoed messages ahead of time. They knew it was happening. They chose not to be here. I want to be very clear about that. Corporate media knew and chose not to be here. It's like incredibly critical to call that out. This is why people have like 20 some percent trust in corporate media. Because they're seeing them refuse to report on these critical moments in our country's history that's happening right now. We've got hundreds of faith leaders who, as much as billionaires want to divide us and want us to hate each other and want us to see each other as the enemy, we have now hundreds and hundreds, probably more than 1,000 at this point, people out here of all faiths and backgrounds, standing united in the bitter cold, demanding accountability, demanding ICE fascists get out of our town, get out of our state, get out of our country, demanding that we abolish ICE, demanding that corporations take action, that they stop using the money we give them for services to imprison our neighbors, to deport neighbors, to kill our neighbors. I mean, this is a powerful story. This is a powerful moment. This is what I mean, that our enemies are not Jews or Christians or Muslims or believers or non-believers. Our enemies are the billionaire bootlickers who want us to fight these culture wars with each other. We are not each other's enemy at all. We never have been. We never will be. Every person I know, whether they're a believer or non-believer, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, they just want safety and security for themselves, safety and security, have a good job, have a roof over their head, food in their stomach, basic stuff. And we get that by upholding due process of law, by recognizing the humanity in one another, not by demonizing one another, not by condemning one another. It's so critical that we recognize that. And it's so critical that we refuse to be sold this nonsense propaganda that we're supposed to fear one another. Don't buy into that. That's my big ask of everyone here. Don't buy into that propaganda. We already have more than 500 people watching here. That's awesome. Just keep pushing, get the word out there. Because again, corporate media is not reporting on this. We need to report on this. We need to let people know. I'm still walking, by the way. I'm not even to the end yet. Folks are just passionate, they're dedicated, they're powerful. This is our opportunity to continue to raise our voice as well. There's blocked off the road over here altogether, as you can tell. And back. We got union workers here, AFL-CIOs here, sending a message that organized labor, does not stand with these fascists. I think the signs are pretty clever. IKEA, better cabinets, love your neighbor as yourself, and I terror. Jesus was a refugee. Yes, he was. Love thy neighbor, no acceptance. Trump lies. Yes, he absolutely positively does. We are better than this. I'm not sure we are at this point, but we can be better than this. When people say that I don't recognize this country anymore, it tells me they haven't really been paying attention. When people say we're acting like Nazi Germany, which is a common refrain, remember, Nazi Germany got their Nuremberg laws from America's Jim Crow laws. All right, we're seeing some movement happening here. This is the direct action, getting in the street. We're going to continue to document and stay with us here. Now they're getting in the streets. I'm going to go back on the other side. Come in through inside so I can catch the other side here. I'm going to go into that side where the people are coming after them so you can see what's happening here. People are praying. It's awesome. They're reporting from inside this local media. Hey, seeing people I know. It's great to see friends out here.
Nearly travel mat. Red team? No? Nope, yeah, I think we could just run.
These mats are for people who are going to be kneeling in protest. Here we go.
What'd you do?
Do my best to get to the front here.
That's a good. I have.
It's amazing, guys. Absolutely amazing. Hope you guys can hear me okay. Like, you see all these people here in direct action attempt. It's fascinating. Absolutely amazing.
It is.
Just trying to get a better view here. Okay.
I have. I don't. I don't. I have.
There's a massive crowd. It's amazing. Yep, they're beautiful. I'm gonna try to get up on that deck bridge, or not deck bridge, that crosswalk, and get a better view of what's happening to give you an idea of the size of this crowd because it is massive. It is growing.
On Sunday. Yeah.
So I can get upstairs here, get a better view for you guys. What's happening? How big this crowd actually is. It is a probably big crowd.
I knew that.
Go see what kind of views you have up there. Look at that. Pretty amazing. The crowd over here. Yeah, even more people still coming out here yet. Impressive. Absolutely impressive. I think far more people than I expected. You got a couple thousand here at least at this point. Yeah.
Are you just here to film?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, everything to do with that. No.
I can't film over here? All right, cool. We were told it would be okay to film, just to document.
On this side of the skyway.
Just,
Totally okay.
okay. All right. Apparently free speech can't exist on the skyway, so it's sending me back down here. But look at a good shot from over here. Here we go. We got a good number of folks walking over here. Over here. The crowd walking over there. Yeah, not great. I'm gonna go back down in a second, but I just want to show you guys where this crowd is going. Over here. We'll head back out in a second. But first, I'm going to let that rest there for a second while I get some hand warmers because my fingers are about to fall off. Clearly, this is going extremely well so far. The response has been fantastic. People are safe, they're engaged, they recognize the urgency of the hour. Oh, got my hand warmers, putting them on. Those are invented hand warmers. Like, God bless that dude. What a cool thing to have invented. What a useful thing to have invented. Gloves on, hand warmers back on. Do my best to stay warm, my friends. It is pretty brutal out here. It is extremely brutal out here. Make these hand warmers warm up. Head back out here in a second now. There we go. All right, so heading back out. I here 1 second here. It is insanely cold, guys. I don't know how these folks. I've been going in and out the whole time. to avoid frostbite. I don't know how you're supposed to bear in this cold. This is beyond impressive. Beyond impressive. This is incredible. This is true service to humanity. Doing whatever they can to make sure that their neighbors are being taken care of here. Thank you all for tuning in. Wow. Almost 800 folks watching. I appreciate y'all. And the lesson take away from here is that we are not helpless. We can continue to speak up, raise our voices, and make sure that our voices are heard. Go. Open the gates there. I heard back outside now. Flip back around. There we go. The benches are here. Did a good review. These folks right here. There's going to be a significant number of faith leaders who will be kneeling in protest with the expectation that they'll be arrested. But the message is undeniable here, guys. Look at this is all of Minnesota showing up. It's peaceful, it's respectful, it's deliberate. This is good trouble.
Keep coming down.
Kudos to all the union peacekeepers who are working hard to make sure everyone is staying safe and impactful. Leading the chance. I think one of the biggest things that I'm learning here in these few days that I've been in Minnesota is that people are traumatized, but they're not paralyzed. They're traumatized, but they're not paralyzed. And so the refusal to be traumatized is so critical here because they want us, this fascist regime wants us to feel paralyzed. Yeah, we're good. You good? Cool. This fascist regime wants us to feel paralyzed and traumatized. And it's critical that we recognize our agency, recognize the strength that we bring to the table, the sheer volume of people that we have. There are more of us that demand peace and justice and humanity than there are these ICE fascists that are trying to intimidate us. But it's our opportunity to make sure we continue to speak up, continue to raise our voices. And you don't need to travel to another state to do it. I'm doing it because you all support me and I'm able to do it because of your support. I'm doing it for human rights for this is what I do for a living. So I'm trying to elevate your stories. But you guys can do the exact same thing with your local city councils, your local town halls, your local school. You have every reason to be engaged in this space and to make sure that your voices are being heard. Every single reason. Local law enforcement is somebody asked if local law enforcement is helping or hindering or protesters. They're just kind of standing by the wayside, not really doing anything right now. The people who are helping are the people in the green vest that you see. These are union members. AFL-CIO, a bunch of other unions are out here as well. And they're the ones that are really keeping us safe, keeping us organized, and doing a great job of it as well. Its spirits are high. People's motivations are high. They're not slowing down. Absolutely amazing group of patriots here. Asking for some congregate over there. With more and more people to keep coming.
You're gonna get cut, by the way. Wow.
I think it's starting to kneel pretty soon here.
Here? Oh, wait, liberation!
That's an excellent sign right there.
Oh, no. Deportation! Great. What's up? Great.
All right, I'm up here on the bench. Obviously, he's crowd right behind me. The enthusiasm is through the roof. It's not slowing down at all. For those asking, I am warm. My fingers are a little bit cold, but I am warm. I'm good. I'm not shivering or anything like that. My body, my core feels warm. My legs feel warm. So I'm fine. I feel good there. Um, there's no wind here, fortunately, so that's helping immensely. But my face is a little bit frozen, as you can tell. It's hard to have like facial expressions, but I'm doing what I can. Um, I think at the front over there, I'm gonna try to make it over there in a second. It's pretty crowded, so it might be a little bit tough, but I'm gonna try to get up there and get a better shot of what's actually happening. These sustained protests are what's necessary, and I want everyone watching this to understand that it's not just about showing up here. It's about being active consistently. Showing up once is important. Let this be an ignition, not a flash in the pan. Let this ignite. Let this spark something in you to be more involved. And the thing is, you don't need money. You don't need a platform. You just need you. You have everything that you need in you. Just show up. And I promise you, show up regularly, consistently. People in your circle are going to see your example and they're going to follow your example and they're going to show up with you as well. And that's the beauty of how organizing works. It takes a few people, thoughtful people, to be consistent in the work they're doing, and then more and more folks go up with the results. That's all you got to worry about. That's all you got to focus on. So find an opportunity, find a way to be involved on a local level, and I promise you'll see more success happen on a more regular basis. All right, I'm gonna try to make my way uh to the front and see what I can get done over here. Right? Right. Uh, yeah.
Guys, I got. Hello, Emily. How you doing?
Where are they going to be kneeling?
No
Good idea. Okay, cool. Can I walk over this way? Just to record?
Sidewalk.
Sidewalk? Cool, no problem. All right, cool. These union guys are great. Super nice, super kind. The cop was like, you can't be here. This guy found an alternative better. Here, let me show you just how many people are here. This is great. Going all the way down the terminal there. Pictures of people who've been abducted by ICE fascists. Now, different faith leaders are speaking their piece, sharing their peace, sharing their prayers, some kneeling down to pray. These are some of the faces of the people who have been abducted by these ICE fascists. You have to understand, these are our fellow Americans. They do not deserve this at all. And notice how almost all of them are black and brown people. It's a targeted harassment, it's racist harassment, it's white supremacist harassment, it's white narcissism by the Trump regime and by his sycophants. I appreciate you guys continue to share this. Again, corporate media has not shown up. They got the notifications and they decided that this is not important enough for them to show up. I think it's so important that we recognize that corporate media is complicit in this because they just refuse to share what's happened. They refuse to report on these injustices as they're happening. This is a major event. We've got hundreds, if not well over 1,000 people here of all faith backgrounds and no faith speaking up and demanding justice and accountability. And corporate media is nowhere to be found. We got local media, we got independent journalists, we got human rights lawyers like myself showing up here, but corporate media is absolutely gone, completely absent from all of this. All right, I'm gonna go inside for just 1 second just to warm up a little bit because my fingers are freezing off and these hand warmers are not helping.
Up here. Up here. Up here.
All right, I had to come inside because my pain threshold of my fingers was beyond the pale, and the last thing I need is frostbite on my fingers. It is absolutely ridiculously brutal. Be cold, guys. I, I gotta tell you, I have never experienced this level of cold before. Also, my battery's getting down to 40%. It was fully charged, but that's what cold will do to batteries. So I don't know how much longer I can broadcast. I'm going for about an hour so far, I think. But in any case, maybe less. I can't tell you more. In any case, what we're seeing here, guys, is an example of what we can do on a national scale. There's no reason why we can't continue to do this on a national scale. Every city. And the thing is, up now. Don't wait for these ice facets to show up because it's gonna set you back. It's not gonna give you the opportunity to be as effective as you can be. Start to organize now with your local faith community or local church or synagogue or mosque, and start working with other faith communities as well. Reach out to if you're a Christian, reach out to a mosque. If you're Muslim, reach out to a church. If you're Jewish, reach out to a church. If you're non-believer, reach out to a faith community. Um, Synagogues, mosques work together. I mean, these are the opportunities we have. We need to be able to work together. I'm going to share this a little later, an inspiring research article by a friend of mine. We wrote about a mosque in Berlin that helped hide Jewish people and gay people and get them out of Nazi Germany during the Holocaust. These are the kinds of solidarity movements that we need right now, that we need to use to work together to recognize each other's humanity, to protect each other's humanity, to recognize that we don't have to agree on theology, we don't have to agree on anything except on the humanity of one another. That has to be our North Star. We can never, ever let someone's humanity be compromised or shut down or denied. Once that happens, we lose. Once they convince us to deny each other's humanity, we lose. It's game over. And that's not a risk that we can take for any reason whatsoever. That's something that we are facing, just staring right in the face right now. And if we want to be successful and get past this regime and actually have meaningful resolution, meaningful accountability for those who are responsible for this, this is our opportunity to do so. Standing out here waiting for the next step. to see what the protest is going to do, and then I'm gonna head back out there and want to start see that happen. But let me answer some questions you guys have out there right now as well. Let's see here. Thanks for all the kind words, guys. Appreciate you immensely. Really do. Ooh, a lot of comments coming through. 1 second here. Trying to keep up. Yep, Ren Jenkins about the billionaires. Exactly right. Nobody needs $1 million. What airport is this? This is Minnesota St. Paul Airport, right in Minneapolis St. Paul Airport, right in Minnesota. Um, it's about minus 20. Somebody has temperature. It's about minus 20 degrees right now, and with the wind chill, it's about minus 30 to minus 40 degrees. Looking at frostbite in just a few minutes of exposed skin, less than a minute of exposed skin will get you frostbite. I'm wearing 6 layers, and I'm actually okay. I'm not too cold. My fingers are gone though. The pain in my fingers is just absurd. It's ridiculous pain. Um, yeah, for those who are able to share this with their network, please do share it. We can get more awareness of what's happening, what's going on. And look, I'm going to say this again and again. I'm not a paid protester. I'm able to do this because you guys support me. You guys subscribe, free and paid subscribers. You guys are able to, I'm doing this one because it's my obligation as a human being, but I'm able to do it because of the support that each of you give, and I want to acknowledge that because this doesn't happen in a vacuum. This doesn't happen consistently, sustainably on its own. Last year at this time, I was in Pasadena giving pro bono legal advice to survivors of the LA fires, the LA fire victims. And I've post coming out later today about how even a year later, they still don't have the justice that they need and deserve, and why it's so much more important that we continue to speak up. So a year ago, I was there. 6 months before that, I was in Lahaina supporting fire victims out there, and now I'm here in Minneapolis supporting those who are protesting these ICE fascists. You guys help make that possible, and it's important for me to acknowledge that and recognize that. The fact that 1,000 folks are watching here is awesome as well. So appreciate you guys. Um, and look, we're up against a lot. We're up against the Trump regime. We're also up against complicit Democrats like the 7 who just yesterday voted to give ICE another $28 billion. You guys, there's no training that's going to fix ICE. Jonathan Ross, the guy who killed Renee Good, was an 18-year veteran. He was somebody who did training, firearms training, mass shooter drill training. His training taught him to shot people in the face. Cristiano said that he did what his training told him to do. Their training tells them to shoot people in the face, as proven right then and there. More training is not going to fix this. You need to muffle. You need to uh, abolish ICE. There we go. Might help with the voice a little bit. We need to abolish ICE and prevent this fascism from perpetuating. That's the only actual way we're going to get through this mess. That's it. There's no other way we're going to get through this mess. It's going to have to come from abolishing ICE. And that happens, that starts by us being clear-eyed about the work before us and continuing to unite to combat this. Thanks for the heads up on the muffled voice. My scarf was getting in the way. Let me fix that real quickly. I'm going to show you what's happening outside. While I do that, this is what's happening outside. I'm going to put my scarf back on. Put my scarf back on without muffling my voice this time, hopefully. Because this is not easy. Not easy at all. But I consider it a privilege that I can be here. Absolutely consider it a privilege that I can be here. If I wasn't here, I'd be miserable knowing that I could be doing more. And so for me, this is not just an obligation, but a privilege. to make sure I'm here representing as best as I possibly can these ideals and values that we all care about: human rights and human dignity. There we go. That should help. That's better this time. Can you guys hear me better now? Hopefully. There we go. Hopefully you guys can hear me better now. Uh, what unions and churches are here? AFL-CIOs here, and churches, there's dozens of churches, numerous synagogues, a few mosques as well. But there are dozens and dozens of churches. There's too many to count. But basically, like I think One Faith Minnesota is the main organization that kind of coordinated all this. Um, this protest is happening. If you're just tuning in, this protest is happening right here at the Minneapolis St. Paul Airport in Minnesota. And guys, there's one thing I've learned being out here the last couple of days is that we have so much to have hope for, so much to be hopeful for. Because again, the folks here, while they're traumatized by these ICE fascists coming after them relentlessly, they're not paralyzed. They're not helpless. They are continuing to organize effectively. They're continuing to respond consistently, and they're continuing to lift each other up. And that is the message that uh, they've asked me to share with as many people as possible. That the model that they've built here is a model that just takes coordination. It doesn't take billions of dollars. It doesn't take an absurd amount of money. Sure, it takes some sacrifice financially, but we have those means already. We don't need some billionaire to come in and save us, or protect us. We have the ability now to do this work on a local level, and that's the message that I think every person here needs to understand. That we all have the ability in our communities locally to be involved and to make sure that people understand that we control our own future here. We control our own destiny here. Um, we need to ask them why they're voting for ICE funding. I mean, this is, I think, a reflection of the failure of Schumer and Jeffries. We need new leadership here. Um, I think these complicit Dems are thinking that voting in favor of Trump's policies will save them. But I'm telling you, proximity to fascism has never been protection from fascism. And they need to understand that. We cannot tolerate violations of human rights and due process. And every person watching this, if there's one thing you take away from this, is to recognize your agency and your power in this. We don't have to be complicit. We don't have to be silent. We have to continue to speak up. So, okay, I'm glad my voice is better. Okay, good. Sorry about that. I should have checked that sooner. When we publish this later, hopefully the captions will help as well. I have mittens. Somebody asked, I need mittens. I've got like really thick gloves. These are like the thick kind, and I've got a hand warmer inside now as well. You know, but that's helping. But it's just brutally cold, guys. It's really really cold. All right, I'm gonna try to head back out. Yeah, no mainstream media out here. None at all. And it's just, again, this an indictment of how little they actually care. How little they actually care about what's happening here. All right, I'm down to about 30% of battery, so eventually I'm gonna have to log off by virtue of what's happening. And I might try to log back in, or at least record what's happening. If they do make any arrests, but this frigid cold is just brutal, guys. Yeah, I've said that a few times. But despite that, yeah, you got a few hundred people inside here, but just the vast majority, well over 1,000, are outside and are bearing this cold. I don't know how they're doing it. It's crazy. Some folks have been out here for the whole hour. I don't know how they're doing it. It's beyond impressive. Um, I'm good. Good. No, I'm heading back outside right now. We are outside.
I blame on you.
He's showing up. These cops are showing up to arrest the protesters. I don't understand. This is the airport police. Their jurisdiction is the airport. Standing up here. It's a shame. Like Gestapo.
Every city of the world, city down.
This is the airport police.
Coming
Coming from the other side as well.
like that.
These are faith leaders all standing here, demanding their voices be heard. This is what we're spending our tax dollars on, by the way. They're spending their tax dollars on arresting faith leaders.
James!
These are faith leaders reciting prayers, kneeling for humanity, for justice, for accountability, for awareness. And look, these are all local journalists here. It's all local media here. No corporate media here. It's all local journalists, independent media, raising awareness, letting folks know what's happening. Just look at this shot, guys. Look at this shot. You got faith leaders kneeling down, begging for justice and humanity, and you got armed agents of the state with firearms, with batons, with zip ties, dressed in dark clothing, faces covered, identities concealed,
And it doesn't smell.
right behind them. I mean, what a dystopian photo this is right here. What a dystopian and horrifying moment this is for this to be happening right now. These are where our tax dollars are being spent. These tax dollars could be spent on educating children, on feeding children. They could be spent on any number of important initiatives to take care of people, to elevate people, to help people, to feed people, to provide health care, to combat poverty, to give people access to housing, to cancel medical debt, to cancel student debt, to eliminate these atrocities, these social injustices, to combat hunger and poverty. But what's happening is that our tax dollars are being spent by arresting faith leaders, Christian, Muslim, Jewish faith leaders,
Right.
believers and non-believers, whose only crime is they want to speak up for those who are being unjustly marginalized, who are being unjustly oppressed, who are being unjustly denied access to basic human dignity. That's their only crime.
Now, I'm gonna let it shine.
I'm gonna let it shine. Yep, they're trying to arrest faith leaders. Here we go. They're arresting faith leaders as they're protesting, peacefully protesting fascism. One by one now. Look at their faces.
I said, you know, that beautiful burn. I need help, God.
Lord's Prayer being recited as people are being arrested for protesting fascism. Truly a remarkable scene. Being zip-tied right now, they're being led away. Feelings. Here we go. Lady Liberty, everyone asked 10 friends to join you in activating our country. Absolutely right. Get involved locally. These are the products that are kneeling on. So one by one, they're being arrested. They're being picked up off the ground and arrested. Again, this is where our tax dollars are being spent. The tax dollars be going to any number of a million different things, better things, but they're being spent arresting faith leaders, Christian, Muslim, Jewish faith leaders for protesting fascism. To me, it's important to be here just to be a witness, document what's happening, document the reality of this injustice is happening right before our eyes. It doesn't have to be into it, guys. It really does not. There's just no evidence that this is the right way to move forward as a country. A country is stronger when we work together across race, across color, across culture, across class, across gender. This dehumanization and demonization is what will destroy our country. That's just a reality. And lest any corporate media later show up and talk about these being violent rioters and violent people, they are as peaceful and as sweet and gentle people as you can imagine. Their crime is simply speaking up for the marginalized. Their crime is speaking up for the people that the Trump regime has decided are expendable or to be destroyed. That's their crime. But these are not ICE officers. These are airport police officers who are leading people away one by one at a time. People will be ticketed, likely released later, but hopefully this message gets spread nationally. That's why I'm asking each of you to keep sharing this, as corporate media is out here. Corporate media, as far as I'm concerned, is completely dead at this point. They don't care. But you got these giant weapons. It's crazy, right? Corporate media is completely dead at this point. They don't care. But here's our opportunity to keep raising our voices. Share this in your communities. I'm going to continue to report. Hit subscribe when you can. I don't care if it's only as a free or a paid subscriber. Do what's in your budget. I don't want anyone to be a paid subscriber and put themselves in financial harm. I want you to just be engaged and involved in whatever level you can, because the more of us who are involved, the better. The more of us who are engaged, the better that we will all be in this space. You can just see the joy here, the relentless joy that they will not be deterred by this fascism. That joy is our resistance. That joy is our resistance. Remember that. Be aware of that. Be cognizant of that. I recognize my privilege in being here, of being a citizen, of being a human rights lawyer, of knowing the law, of having the means to come out here on my own dime. And to me, this is the very least I could do. When I put the article out a couple of days ago that I'll be here, I got hundreds of messages from people telling me to not come, not because of any other reason, that they feared for my safety. That was the only reason. And I love the love that people show me. And I also can't sit silent while my fellow Americans are being tortured and arrested like this. It's just not an option. But this is what we're facing right now. Well, here they're being processed and booked, handcuffs put on them. This is who the Trump regime is arresting. These are who they are considering a threat to our national security. This gentleman. The elderly clergy people are the ones being arrested. It's wild. Absolutely just crazy to me. This is what our country is coming to. That these are the people who are considered a threat and are being arrested as a result, one by one. These are local police, for those asking. These are local police in the airport. These are not ICE agents. They're not state police. They're local police for the actual airport itself. They'll be booked, I think, at the airport jail, a small jail. So I'm not sure where they'll be taken, but they won't be held here for very long. They'll be uploaded to these school buses and then taken for booking, or they might even be released after getting a ticket. They are not ICE. For those asking, these are not ICE officers. No, they're being processed right here as well. It is shameful. This is the world we're in right now. This is the world we're in. I commend these faith leaders for stepping up at a time when their community needs them. It's a critical moment in American history, and they're showing up. Absolutely critical that they are. All right, guys, I'm gonna head back inside because my battery is almost dead, and I need to recharge. But I wanted to show you guys what was happening there live in real time. This is the reality of what's happening in real time right now, guys. This is the world that we're in. And it's painful to see as I'm seeing these faith leaders being arrested, some people speaking up. It's mortifying to see. But I'm also glad that I was here to bear witness this in real time.
Sign down for a national strike.
Trying to get to a place where God is cold outside, guys. But I'm gonna get to a place spot where I can plug in and chat a bit more. Thanks for staying with me, guys, throughout this broadcast. I know it's been long, but I appreciate you guys staying with me here. Here we go. All right, here we go. It's insanely cold, guys. It is so insanely cold. I can't even tell you how cold it is. I've legit never experienced this level of cold in my entire life. Fingers are frozen, even with the heat warmers that I have in here. My fingers are absolutely gone. But I wanted you guys to see that. I wanted you guys to experience that in real time as it was happening. It's going to be going on for the next hour at least because there's a lot of people kneeling in protest. There's a lot. And I think it's important that we bear witness in these critical moments in history because this is how we make sure we tell the story accurately. When I was protesting ICE fascists over the summer, and ICE deployed the smoke bombs on us, the narrative from Pam Bondi was that 200 violent rioters attacked an ICE building and they had to defend themselves. And I had to put out the video there of all of us standing, minding our own business, and ICE proactively on their own accord attacking us. It's important that we are able to tell these narratives factually and accurately to prevent these ICE fascists or this regime from painting a narrative that's contrary to truth. The truth is that these faith leaders are here because they believe in the humanity of those who are being unlawfully detained, killed, kidnapped, arrested, deported. And that's a message that we need to send out there. And I hope every person, if you just take away one thing from this, recognize that the trauma that the folks in Minnesota are facing is being underreported, and simultaneously their resistance is being underreported. The corporate media wants us to pretend that it's not as serious as it is. It's extremely serious what's happening here, extremely serious. And they also want us to pretend that people here have given up or that they don't care. And that's not the truth either. People are extraordinarily engaged, extraordinarily involved. They have not given up. They care, and they will continue to care, because this is what we do. This is how we support one another. This is the only way we're going to get through it. And so take this message and recognize that this is something that you can implement in your local communities as well. This is not something that has to be only in Minnesota. This is something that can be done all throughout the country, where we stand up peacefully and continue to resist against this fascism. That is what we're called to do. For those of you who've been watching this whole time, I appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to go and take some pictures and photos as well to share, but I wanted to just make sure I got this out to you. Continue to hit subscribe, continue to support my work and my advocacy. You know that it wouldn't be possible without your support. I'm grateful to each of you for doing so. Much love to all of you. God bless all of you. Keep me in your prayers if you pray. And if you don't pray, send me good vibes. Either way, deeply grateful for all the support and love. I'll post this a little bit later on. Hit that subscribe button. Continue to get involved in your local community. Let's go out and fight this fascism and white supremacy. God bless you. Peace out.